up, guys? It's Kara Corey here for another Dietitian Talk. And today I'm going to talk about the long-awaited reverse diet video. I wanted to wait a little bit to do this video because I wanted to experience the reverse diet a little bit on my own before I did this video. That way I could speak a little bit better to it in terms of my experiences with it so far. So to get right into it, reverse dieting is basically known in the bodybuilding world as a period of time coming off of a competition or a cut in which you're slowly reversing out of the diet, slowly increasing your macros based on the amount of fat that you're gaining, the number on the scale, and how your body weight is progressing. And this is done at a very slow pace for the most part. Reverse dieting, I think, is used mostly within bodybuilding. However, a reverse diet can apply to anyone who has done a cut or any type of calorie restriction even. Maybe for someone who is cutting hardcore because they're going on vacation, or they're gonna go to their reunion and they're cutting real hard. You know, I think it can be applied to anyone who's really been in a long-term calorie deficit. So I think about it in terms of competing, so you'll kind of hear me speak towards that and my experiences. But for me personally, being a competitor, I had to go into a caloric restriction. Most people do in order to compete, unless you are genetically some kind of freak to step on stage without having to alter your diet in that way. Most of us have to go through basically a starvation period. You know, you have to restrict your calories pretty severely to get on stage for anyone, for most people. So when you think about it, you compete, you come off stage, you've had this period where your body basically thinks you're starving, and for most of us, we want to reward ourselves, we want to eat everything we haven't been able to eat for however long you were prepping for, 2 or 3 months. For some people, it might be more, but you have to be careful. And I have never reverse dieted before up until this competition. For some other competitions, I was basically always in a calorie restriction, so I would just jump back on my previous meal plan, and since it was a calorie restriction for me, I didn't have a rebound. But for most people, you jump back on to like quote-unquote normal eating, or eating everything in sight because you've been restricted. And what can happen is that leads to not only weight gain because you're eating those types of foods, but weight gain more than you would normally gain had you have not been in that caloric deficit, because your body, it's gonna accrue some type of, I don't know if accrue is the right word, but it's going to take on some metabolic damage in this process. Let's be real. Depending on how long you're in this caloric restriction for, you are harming your metabolism in a way. And it's gonna be a little bit different for everyone, but I know even for myself, the calories and the macros that I went to, my body adjusted. So we had to keep kind of slowly working with it, but the body is an amazing mechanism, and it will adapt and it will adjust. So even though you're like, what the hell, I'm on how many ever carbs, and your weight loss will slow down. Things will slow down and your body adjusts, and you have to keep tweaking things. So at the end of the day, at the end of the competition, your body has adjusted to those super low macros, whether you want to believe it or not. So to hop back on the normal eating bandwagon it's not the best for your body, physically and mentally. And that's what a lot of us go through. A lot of competitors suffer from that post-show weight gain that not only can damage your body internally too, but mentally a lot of competitors suffer with depression after a competition, because not only did you just look like you were in the best shape of your life and everyone told you how great and amazing you look, and then 3 days later you're up 15 pounds and that's all stripped away from you. And your self-esteem and confidence can take a huge hit. And I think that's probably one of the most crucial things that can occur. Besides the stupid number on the scale, I think people's self-esteems just get ruined from this post-show weight gain. So the reverse diet, I think, is something everyone should take a look at, and this is the first time I've done it, so I'm not an expert at it, but there's a lot of good information out there. For me, I've hired a coach. Obviously, Mark coached me through the competition, and I said to him, can you please coach me post-show into a reverse diet? Now, I can only get so specific with the reverse diet because it's gonna look different for everyone based on what diet you were on previously. So for me, on my competition diet, what Mark did is he took a look at what macros I was on the week leading up to my show, and after my competition, I went out and had a free meal, and I think I encourage everyone to do that. Still do it in a somewhat smart way. A free meal should not equal binge your face off meal and eat 20,000 calories. So doing that versus going out and having some sushi and froyo, what I did with my husband, are two different things. So just still be smart with it, but I think everyone can do a free meal without totally harming their body or making the reverse diet not work, I guess. So we did the free meal, and then it was back on basically pre-comp macros. The week I was on, the macros I was on the week before the competition. This is where the reverse diet gets tough, because it's one thing to be on low macros and know you're stepping on stage in a week and knowing you want to win and you want to place good and you want your photos to look good and you're representing a company or what have you, to the show's over, now you're just back on competition macros. That can be really freaking tough. Think about it. It's really challenging. And I wasn't sure how challenging it would be until I had to do it. People are like, it's more tough than actually being on a competition diet. And I'm thinking, how is that possible? How would it be possible that it'd be more challenging than that? Nope. Everyone that said that is correct. But it can be done, is what I'm here to tell you. It can be done, and it should be done. But I just want to warn you, and I'm glad I knew this going into it, because if I didn't know it was going to be challenging, I think it would have been even more of a wake-up call for me. But it is tough. It's tough if that goal is not there, the photo shoot, the vacation, the competition. It can be tough to have to still stick with low macros. But it's a process, and like I said, everyone is going to reverse diet a little bit differently based on what you were doing previously, based on your metabolism, how your body looks, etc. So for me, still working with Mark is helpful because I'm still sending him weekly photos, sending him my weights, and we're slowly adjusting things. Again, based on your diet, things are going to get adjusted differently. A lot of reverse diets, people usually start you back on whatever your lowest macros were and slowly work your way up week to week. For carbs, a lot of times that's where people first start to increase. For me, Mark actually increased my fat first, I think because I was on fairly low fat. Being a female, I actually did not have any issues with female things occurring, so I was not that lean, or I guess metabolically damaged, I don't know, but I didn't have any issues in that department. But a lot of times with women, they might increase the fat first. It really just depends on what you were doing previously with your carbs and your fat. But usually carbs and fat are slowly increased. I can't just generically tell you increase 10 carbs a week and 5 grams of fat, and that's how that works. There's no set guidelines with it. It really has to be, you have to kind of watch the progress over time. Just like you change your diet based on the progress you're making working up towards the competition, you play it week by week, maybe you play it day by day and make adjustments as necessary. Well, the same is true working into a reverse diet. I think it is helpful to do daily weights on a reverse diet. If you know that's not going to screw with your head looking at your weight every day, it's one easy way to gauge, am I gaining too much fat too fast? Because obviously your weight's going to slowly go back up once you start adding in a bit more food. Maybe it won't. Some people actually lose weight on a reverse diet because you can have some good metabolic adaptations to cutting and then adding in more food. Sometimes your body handles it and you can actually still lose weight or maybe maintain a lower weight. Again, it depends on every person. So I think it's crucial that as either you or your coach is slowly increasing things. You're weighing yourself, taking progress photos, maybe even doing measurements if you have access to do that. Especially, you could use a measuring tape or skin calipers. Could be very helpful in that department to gauge how quickly things are changing. In terms of how long do you need to reverse diet for, again, there's really no set answer. I was wondering the same thing. Shit, I still am. I'm like, how long I gotta do this shit for? But for me, it's a little bit different because I do plan to compete again. So right now, I don't think my reverse diet is gonna be as long, or we're really gonna progress as far as we would if I was going into an off season. Or for some people, their off season, they're reverse dieting into a surplus. In general, your basic reverse diet is getting you to your maintenance calories, is the end goal. So for however long it takes you to get there is going to be different for everyone. And what are your maintenance calories? Or again, hard to know, right? I have lost sight of what my maintenance calories would be at this set point in time because I've been working towards a competition. So getting back to my maintenance calories may look somewhat different now than they did pre-competition. So again, there's no exact formula. There's plenty of macro calculators online for you to figure out what you think your maintenance calories are, but in reality, that's just a guide and they may be nowhere near close to that based on how your body currently is. But in general, you're gonna wanna keep reversing till you get to that maintenance kind of level of calories where you're not gaining weight, you're not losing, you're just kind of staying status quo. And then depending on what your goals are, whether you're going into a bulk, whether you're just trying to maintain, or whether you're doing another cut, then you make changes based on that. So overall, that's what a reverse diet is. For me, my reverse diet, my macros are still fairly low 2 weeks out, but I will say, this past week I had some family things come up that really changed my schedule quite a bit. Life happens, threw me for a loop. I had to travel, I had to do things, I kind of ate out more than I normally would. And that's just how life works. So was my reverse diet perfect this past week? No. My workouts weren't, I didn't get as many workouts in as I wanted to. And that's the other thing I'll talk about is reverse diet exercise. But it doesn't mean my reverse diet has failed, or it does. You just keep going with it. You kind of keep going with it. If you're working with a coach, you keep them informed of everything that's going on. The only way your coach can help you, and I say this to my clients all the time, you have to be honest with them and you have to tell them what's going on, or else they can't guide you the right way. And for Mark, he knew. He was like, life happens, do the best you can, and we'll keep moving forward. Perfect. That's exactly what I needed to hear. So going back to with reverse dieting, the other thing I wanted to touch on, because I was curious as well, is what happens with the cardio. Because for most people, when you're cutting or prepping for a competition, you start increasing your cardio, right? So the same is true with your macros pretty much as it is with your cardio. When you go into a reverse diet, you pretty much want to keep doing the amount of cardio you were doing leading up to that point. So for me, it was 7 sessions a week, 45 minutes about. And that's what Mark put me back on post-show. And kind of your plan is, as you're reversing with your diet, you're also reversing with your cardio a bit too. We'll slowly start working down on the amount of cardio I'm doing, or for you guys, the amount of cardio you're doing. You want to go back to that normal routine, which, like I said, that's hard. It's hard to want to be in the gym doing cardio when you're not thinking about that end goal of being on stage anymore. It can be very tough. So just know that going into it, and just try to remember the end goal there, what's gonna make you happier at the end of the day. It's hard. I know I didn't think I was gonna have cravings after the show, but after the show you just start to feel like you deserve all this food or something, like I earned it. So it can be very challenging even for me. I didn't expect to feel that way, especially since I did flexible dieting. I was not having cravings even though I was on low macros. And then post-show, it just hits you like a train. You're like, shit, I want to eat food. Not even that you're hungry, you just kind of like, it happens to anyone, I guess is my point, and I want to be very transparent with you guys to be prepared for those types of situations, because for me, I went back to work and everyone's like, you can eat whatever you want now, right? Here's some donuts. And I'm like, no, I can't, don't, no, stop. You know, people have good intentions, but be prepared for it, because people are gonna expect that, and people are gonna wanna feed you. People wanna feed you after a competition. So just expect that and kind of think to yourself, at the end of the day, what's gonna be best for me? You know, Five Guys is always gonna be there. The froyo shops, they're always gonna be there. So I don't need to eat it all in one day, in 1 week, in 2 weeks. For me, I told Mark, dude, I mentally need some free meals. I can't, like, I'm good with counting macros, I'm good with reverse dieting, but I need a couple free meals in order to do this and mentally make it happen. And he was good with that. So we've been able to still fit in some free meals, and that's been helpful for me to go out and have some sushi and froyo, or, you know, a hamburger and fries, and then kind of continue on with the reverse diet. So guess that's some information on reverse dieting and how I've been dealing with it so far. Check out KyleHuntFitness.com. He's got some great information there on reverse dieting. I think you guys will find helpful. Let me know what other questions you have about reverse dieting. I'd be glad to continue to do a series on this, even though for me, like I said, right now it looks a little different because I will be competing again. At least that's the plan. So for me it might be a little different, but in general, reverse dieting is different for everyone. So I hope this helped give you some information. Please share it with others that you think this will be helpful for. And one last thing I want to leave you with and say is, it's never too late. You know, a lot of people just, maybe you fell off the bandwagon, maybe you fell off and you started eating a ton, maybe you did rebound. It's not too late though. Don't just keep digging yourself into that hole, because it's going to leave you with really bad self-esteem. And, you know, the weight on the scale is going to climb, but most of all that I get concerned about are these young girls who are just ruining their self-esteem over it. So just know, it's never too late for you to get back on track, whether you already screwed up the morning and ate over your macros, or maybe your week wasn't perfect, but just keep going. And we're all human, and we all make mistakes. No one's perfect. I'm not perfect. I haven't done this reverse diet perfect. I'm doing the best I can. And just know that there's people out there supporting you like me. So I hope you guys found this video helpful. Please give it a thumbs up and keep checking back for more. As always, comment below on your experiences or any questions you might have for me to discuss in future videos. Maneuver the ladies a bit, and you should have that nice instant cleavage like you see in my photo. So 5 minutes to a fake boob job for $5. Can't go wrong with that. I know a lot of you noticed how it looked. I think it can help the symmetry for some of us natural ladies. And give this a try. Hope you guys like it. Hope you find it helpful. I wish I would have found this tip sooner. So try it out. Give this a like. Share it with your small ladied friends or girlfriends, and keep checking back.